Today I'm going to be talking about a few things you could do to increase the efficiency in your Let's Play gameplay edits. Alright, now, for those of you that don't know, a Let's Play is someone recording their gameplay and adding their commentary and sometimes an image of their face on top of gameplay as they play. Now, one of the really cool things about this is it creates a sense of community, and it's kind of like whenever you and your friend are sitting next to each other on the couch and you're playing a single player game, and one of you's playing and the other one's viewing, and you're just enjoying yourself watching someone else play. That's really all a Let's Play is, except instead of sitting next to them, you're on the internet watching them play. And you even have backlog content, which is the really great thing, so that if you find someone that you really like hanging out with on the internet, you can watch tons and tons of their videos, like PewDiePie and Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Kwebbelkop, all those big guys, as well as a lot of the little guys. What I'm here to talk about today is once you've recorded your face and once you've recorded your gameplay, what's a really quick way to edit that stuff? Because for most people, that's where the most time-consuming thing comes into play. It takes 30 minutes to record, it takes another 30 minutes to an hour to transfer footage, depending on like what equipment you have. Where the really hard part comes is editing that 30 minutes, because if you want to make a 5-minute video, you gotta watch that 30-minute video several times to cut things out, add effects, go in, change things up, add intros, add outros. So what I'm going to talk about today is a really quick way to increase that workflow efficiency if you plan on using a similar workflow for each of your episodes, which I do for my gameplay. I tend to follow a certain template that I improve upon from time to time. Okay, and what you guys can see here is I've actually changed my editing layout just so I can show you guys all of this information on one screen. I normally use 2 screens to edit, but I've compressed everything for the purposes of this tutorial. So one of the first things you'll notice is my timeline. I don't have that many video layers. I actually have 2 layers on top that are always active just in case I need to drag and drop some extra content right before I export the video and I don't feel like jumping into my nested sequences. I'll get to those in a minute. So what you can see here is I have one piece of video and matching audio. This is an intro slug. So this is like my logo and my pan into the actual main video. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of video for a Let's Play that is over 13 minutes long and includes lots and lots of edits. Now, you may be saying, how the heck do I do that? Well, the trick is nested sequences. So if I come down here and I click on Game and Face, it pulls up a nested sequence. And this is a sequence that exists as its own separate sequence. So I can drag this sequence into this one, but it only recognizes it basically as a clip. It has different properties and different values, so you can't do everything that you could normally do to a clip, but there's a lot of stuff that you can do. If you come over here, this is where I would drag and drop all my footage after I've synchronized it, and one of the really good things that you can do for synchronizing is clap if you don't have, proper sync technology, or you're not using embedded mics into the, your video stream or what have you. If you're recording your sources separately, which a lot of people when they're first starting out do, and I still do, using that clap or having a slate or some kind of synchronous, product that can help you synchronize your audio so that everything matches is really, really useful. But at the end of the day, looking at your face and hitting clap, that works just fine. So what you'll notice here is I have, 2 layers of video. The bottom layer is the actual gameplay that I've cut after I synchronized my face and my external audio. That way, when I'm making cuts, it stays in sync. And one of the quick things that you can do in Premiere is you can actually go to your preferences, map a cut all to Shift C. That's something that I use really frequently because regular cut is just C. So Shift C, kind of naturally makes sense. And so after I've cut down my sequence, cut out a lot of the boring parts, this is also the section where I'll go in and say, hey, I want to add something funny where like I speed up the video at like 1,000 times speed, and I want to insert some music to like go along with it. If you guys watch some of my gameplay videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So anywho, I use this subsequence to kind of put all that content together, and it's also, if I scroll up here, you can see it's where I add my face cam border, and there are some places where it's missing, and that's where I cut to these full screen shots. If I pan right over here, you can see I have the face cam border around the edge of my face. I have a lot of these layers empty in between because I generally don't use any more than 2 to 3 video layers of additional content. Sometimes I'll plaster on some effects, and I just want to keep my face cam and its border above those items, so I always keep those things a little bit higher. Okay, if we go back to the original Let's Play, you can see that I have, my synchronized audio. Adding music is another thing that you can do that'll really intensify and, add production value to your Let's Play, because it goes in and it, it speeds things up, it gives things a beat, it makes it feel like things are moving a bit faster. If I go in and I remove the audio, it's just me talking and things walking. But if I go back and I add the audio, suddenly things just feel a little faster, you know, a little more casual. There's no awkward silence, which is really great. Another thing that I really like to do is my intro and outro sequences, such as this one. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. Intro and name is what the nested sequence is. In other programs, it's also called a subsequence. Nesting and Avid is actually where you layer effects on top of each other, and they're kind of treated as their own sequence. Nesting and subsequencing kind of go hand in hand with each other. Different programs use them interchangeably in like the way that they work. But in Premiere, nesting is effectively like a subsequence. So in here I have my intro and my name, and this is stuff that I can change in this subsequence, and it will automatically update in the other sequence, which is really useful for when I'm like, I really want to change that logo a little bit. I want to add a little bit of embellishment to this. Maybe I want to do something a little different this time. That way, I'm not worrying about moving things back and forth. In the other sequence, I can always keep things right here where they belong. And so here you can see, like, I pull in my intro, you know, I have the face cam border in this layer so that whenever that pulls out, it's already there. And then once, you know, this clip is over, regular one from the game and face subsequence will take over. But since they're in the exact same spot, you don't notice a difference. And that just adds that little bit of value so that at the beginning, you know, when the thing is starting, you can see right here, it's already there, and that adds just a little bit of that, you know, professional production value to things. All of this is stuff that I can go into more detail. If you guys want to leave a comment or questions down below, I will explain in greater detail. It's actually really late. I'm recording this kind of last minute. Unfortunately, it's been a busy week, and I'm preparing for a visitor this weekend. And one last quick thing that you guys can do whenever you're creating a Let's Play is it's really important to have end cards or end slates. You know, those kinds of names, or post roll. These are things that are used on the internet all the time. I don't actually know the definitive name for any of these, but you know, it's that ending piece of a YouTube video where it has all their social media, links to their other videos, stuff like that. I also have that in a subsequence. So basically this video is all about subsequences and nests. So if you come in here, you can see that I actually have my social icon slider in there. That way it always shows up in the last few seconds of the video, so as people are watching and playing, you know, often people will, you know, they'll close the video before you get to that end slate because, oh, they know it's coming. So I throw those in there just as, like, you know, an attempt to be like, hey, before you go, check these out. You know, you can add little sound effects. Like I have some bubbles for mine. I use bubbles for pretty much any pop-up just because I like them and they sound really friendly. I have a separate music layer that's just for my outro, you know, and I use, you know, some audio fading here. Now, you may be asking, like, why is this laid out so weird? It looks very strange. If you go to one of my most recent YouTube videos, YouTube has integrated clickable links inside of their in-video cards, usable on iPhones and tablets now, which they weren't previously. But because of that, you have to use their pre-built system. So there is a lot of blank space over here to the left and right, and that's where those items fall. And this actually, you know, aligns with an item that's in the YouTube video, as does the professional work. There's another symbol that sits over here. And then in these two large empty sections are more videos. And you're like, wow, this is like really full of information and full of stuff. You want to give people as many ways to contact you or be a part of your community as possible. So I'm giving them every way that they can at the end of my videos, as well as in the video description. And that is super important that you get that out there in as many ways as possible. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I understand that this video is a little bit rushed and a little bit like frantic, but I'm doing it last minute, and for that I apologize. If you guys want me to do a more refined version of this video in the future, please by all means leave that in the comments down below. You know, leave that suggestion, because I would love to go and do this a little more in depth and a little more proper. Also, any suggestions for future videos would also be appreciated. I want to know what I can do to help you guys out. I'm learning myself, so if it's something that I don't know how to do, it'll be a learning experience for me, which I'm always down for. So thank you guys for watching. If you could, hit that like button down below, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.